This is a story of developing modern computers, and we start off with electrical lamps. The first, but just before electrical lamps, let's look at Pascal in France. He created his first own calculating machine. The next, Wilhelm von Leibniz has created something improved version of Pascal calculating machine. Then we go to the Germany. Here, it's not Germany next, but here is England. It is Charles Babbage and his helper, his support, Ada Augusta Lovelace. Everyone knows her. She's like super figure, first programmer. Charles Babbage created an analytical machine. It was something mechanical. It had several steps of improving, but Ada Augusta Lovelace helped him to program that machine. So, it is 1822, and what happens next? The next is Konrad Zuse. He didn't know anything about Babbage machine, which is analytical machine, and since he created it at the end of 1930s, his machine was destroyed at World War II. So what happens next? Here is Colossus project, which was developed by England government during the war to understand the Enigma messages, to decompose them. Then something happening in the United States. John Atanasoff and George Stiglitz. In 1940s, they have worked both in parallel in something that's supposed to work, but it only worked for George Stiglitz, but not for John Atanasoff. So the next was Howard Aiken. He was introduced into works of John Atanasoff and George Stiglitz. I mispronounced it here. Stiglitz. Howard Aiken created Mark I. He tried to recreate Babbage machine, analytical machine. But when he was at the end of creation of his machine, era of electronics have started. Right up on completion. Has started, I'm sorry. John Muechley has created ENIAC machine with the help of John von Neumann. Then Maurice Wilks and other scientists created EDSAC, and also from there have been created JONIAC, ELIAC, MANIAC, and WASAC. Also there were EDVAC that created, if I'm not mistaken, by John Muechley later on. So, John von Neumann, very interesting guy. He has helped John Muechley to create ENIAC. So he created his own EIAS with Goldstein, not just by his own, but with other scientists. So John von Neumann was a genius. He was able to remember everything what he's seen in his life, at least as it's written in Tannenbaum. And in parallel, MIT created Whirlwind-1. So let's get back to IS. It had memory, control block, and arithmetical logical device. So it had input, output, and something called accumulator, which was used to not for power, but to store numbers. So then the transistors era have started. There was end of electrical lamps and transistors have came. So from Pascal to Wilhelm von Leibniz to Konrad Zuse with Z1, with Charles Babbage, Colossus, and something was going on in United States with usage of electrical lamps. The basics have been created like that.